All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Axle1324. And as always, with me is my good buddy in Halo Crime. That is Lethal Terminus. Lethal, say hello to the people while I shut off all my stuff here.
Hey, Axel. Hey, everyone. Glad to be here.
Hey, absolutely. All right. Episode 5 is in the books. And man, what an episode. You'll get our review, our score of the episode at the end of the show. But real quick, let's check in with the chat. We got Crazy Greek Dude coming in. Yo, how's it going? Missed that last few weeks as I was behind on episodes, but I'm all caught up. Hey, man, I'm glad you're caught up. And yeah, these are spoiler style podcasts. So if you haven't watched the episodes, spoiler warning. And as always, we're glad you're here, Crazy Greek Dude. Princess Zelda said, I heard that this is the episode where we learn Kid Icarus is Master Chief's father. So if you follow my other podcast, the Iconic Video Games Podcast, we had a Halo episode, and Princess Zelda did a bunch of 6 degrees relativity, and she basically came to the conclusion that Kid Icarus is Master Chief's dad. It was very funny. All right, and you know what? Let's not waste any time. That was a great episode. What do you say we get right into it?
Absolutely.
All right. So let me share my screen here. No audio. All right, so we start off in the opening sequence. Once again, it's a flashback, and they're touring the facility, and the kids are playing fairly unsafe, and one of them falls down, and John saves them, and he basically lifts up a kid bigger than him by himself, showing some incredible strength and willpower at the very beginning. What do you think about this scene?
Yeah, this is one of the things that Halsey definitely looked at right away, could instantly tell that this is the one that she wants for the program. Absolutely. This kind of strength, determination at such a young age, a boy that's bigger than him, mind you as well. Yeah, these are great qualities that she wants.
Yeah, absolutely. We move on to the next scene here. And of course, Dr. Halsey is enamored with what she's seeing. She's like, oh, it's perfect. It's wonderful. This little school you got going on over there, looking all googly eye at Master Chief. So yeah, this is definitely why he was picked, I think, in this facility. We keep going. We move on back to planet Iridius 2 or whatever. So some time has gone by, obviously, and they've set up an extraction camp, and they've been here a few days because those tents take, I'd say, at least 2. If we're going by today's military standards, that's at least 2 days. What do you think, Lethal?
Yeah, it seems like they got a good presence already set up. A lot of stuff going on. So yeah, I'd say they've been there for at least a couple days doing some stuff.
That's right. And this is where, let me see, did I get the next shot? No. And so this is Captain Keyes is here. Miranda Keyes, Dr. Miranda Keyes, she's not even a lieutenant or anything, is here. And he basically wants to bring her into the fold and let her do her own research next to Dr. Halsey to try to impress her. So she's super excited that she's going to get to work with her mom and maybe try to, win her love a little. Is that the thing you got from that?
I think so, absolutely. Because I don't think they've had a very good relationship. But if there's one way that they can communicate, it's with results from research. So that's absolutely what she wants to do. That's what I think.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, as we go along with the show, be sure to let us know what you think about this. Real quick, checking in with the chat as well. We got Rain G4 coming in. Thank you so much for your support. Appreciate you. And enjoyed this Halo episode 5 reaction from me and Lethal, as it was a good one. So here, Dr. Halsey is basically telling him to stay away from the artifact because, the safety issue for you and for others, quote unquote. Still playing her Halsey games. What do What do you believe she was trying to do here?
Absolutely. I think one thing is that if Chief were to stay there and touch the artifact like he did the other one, more memories are going to arise, and that's not what she wants. So, talk about safety. It's really just for own safety.
Yeah. So that's also what I got. But still playing her Halsey games, as I call them. We go back to planet. What is this one? Madrigal. And I love this scene right here where she's like, "Oh, we should go do this and we should go do that," and instead he handcuffs her to the bike, saying that basically you owe me money. And I love that scene. I don't know. I felt like finally somebody's, I feel like this child was never told no growing up, and so when this scene happened, I'm not gonna lie, I felt kind of happy. What did you think of this scene? Are you as brutal as I am?
The same way you feel. Oh yeah, because I don't know about Quan Ha. She seems stuck up. She seems just very bratty. Just always what she wants. Very annoying, very intrusive, invasive. Like I said last week, and now she's kind of said the realization that she's going to pay up.
She owes him money.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second here. I'm still sharing out everything because I started really late. Today was a really, really busy day for me. All right, there we go. All my shares are out. There we go. Now I can fully focus on the show. Yes. All right. So yeah. So we go back to a Spartan briefing. So Silver Team is all here. They're doing some briefings, and they're basically saying this is an extraction op for the artifact. That is the number one priority. And you get these kinds of briefings in the military. You do get what your the mission priority is. And we see, this isn't Kai. Which one is this one?
Riz.
The name escapes me. What's her name? Riz. Yes, thank you. Why do I always forget her name? This is Riz giving this briefing. And everybody's just paying attention to the Spartans, which is fantastic. So maybe Riz is an officer type, you think?
Possibly. There, maybe she's just she's got a very authentic, commanding voice to her.
Yeah. Let's see what else we get. And then we have. I found this part to be a little comical. We have Spartan 125 Kai going just basically doing that child game like, why is the sky blue? Well, because it is. But why? I really enjoyed this scene a lot. That whole thing. But she was basically saying, do you ever wonder why we do this or why the Covenant do that? Do you ever wonder why? You never wonder why? All this other stuff, just asking, putting little doubts in everybody's heads. And I love his reactions. I wonder why you would waste my time with your stupid questions. I laughed a little bit at this scene. What about you, Terminus?
It was good. Very good scene. She is right, Kai. That the questions are real questions that should be thought about. But, given that one has a pellet and one does not, they are not going to see eye to eye, regardless of which one is right or not. So, Kai brings up a good point, but Van Eyck being who he is, he, just not happy and thinks or knows that she's been off lately, given that she removed her pellet.
Yeah, and he also brings up that gun grease in her hair. So, I guess that answers my question that I posted in the previous episode. Was maybe she did hair dye, but no, it's here confirmed it was gun grease. So hey, for me, I also got that little clarity. It's nice to have a little peace of mind. And here, Chief and Cortana see Kai, and Cortana's like, "Oh, it's a nice color," she's not thinking much of it. But Chief basically knows that she removed her pellet, questions her on it, and grounds her. What do you think about this?
Well, it's a little hypocritical, to be honest, given that he also removed his pellet and that he's, hasn't been reanalyzed essentially afterwards. But yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, and Cortana does also point out that it's a bit hypocritical. But I'd like to point out, though, too, like, Chief removed his pellet for the sake of his memories that he was having his flashbacks on. He was chasing after something, right? With the artifact. Whereas Kai did it simply because someone else did it.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So the motivation for the pellet removal is not the same. And I think that's why Chief grounds her, because it's not with the same intent.
Good point.
That's just me being super deep. And yeah, he grounds her. She's devastated. And then we move back to planet Madrigal, right? Yeah, we're Madrigal.
Yeah, Madrigal.
And they're basically looking for where the keystone was or any signs of the keystone, if you will. And she gives this speech about, how there are my enemies too, and we need this for that and that, blah, blah, blah. Basically some motivation. But I think it was more for audience clarity for those of you that are not familiar with the Halo lore. I think it was more for audience clarity. What do you think of this short scene here? The motivation talk scene?
Yeah, not much to say in this, to be honest, but they have this goal of mine still to retrieve the other artifact, and obviously she's gonna get what she wants. This artifact that's obviously very important to the discovery of Halo. That's what it's all about. Yeah. I still think that's what's gonna happen.
Absolutely. And then we go back to another part of Madrigal, back to Quan. She managed to break some of the steel on the bike with rocks, which is, Hollywood grandeur. But she did it. She broke out of her chains. I guess, which kind of shows her persistence, her dedication to whatever it is she wants to, be a brat, throw a tantrum until she gets her way. Harder than steel. Resolve. What do you think of this part?
Well, I liked the temper tantrum for sure. That made me laugh. Just yelling, screaming, throwing a fit like a little child, which she is, but still, I think it was funny. But yeah, that stubbornness, got her to be released. So good for her.
Good for her. All right, here, Crazy Groot Dude comes in saying she busted a bad weld loose. Yeah, I can see that happening. I deal with welds all the time, and bad welds will definitely come loose right away with rocks or less. You're absolutely right. So good for her. And then we come back to Irenaeus. Master Chief is telling Captain Keyes what he remembers. And what do you think of this scene where Keyes and Chief are talking?
Well, Keyes is definitely lying to him, obviously, where, he can't bring himself to, give Chief the truth because that can be his undoing. It's very unpredictable what Chief would do, or probably predictable, attack or whatever. Like in the later scene, we'll probably talk about with Halsey, but yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Chief is telling him, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lethal.
I was just continuing what I was saying. He couldn't bring himself to tell Chief the truth because it'd be his undoing.
Yeah. So the basis of this scene is that Chief is telling him that he remembers being kidnapped, and Captain Keyes, in essence, just tells him, "Hey, we'll figure this out together. You and I together, we'll figure this out, and I promise you, we're battle buddies, and your battles are my battles, so forth and so on." Right? Giving him that good old Captain Assurance. Right? And of course, Captain Keyes being who he is, him and Dr. Halsey, and they bring in Admiral. Oh shit, I forgot what her name is.
Parangowski.
Parangoski. I know why I forget her name because it's so long. They bring the Admiral into this, and of course, everybody knows what they did to these children. And Dr. Halsey, kind of, you've ever been with a name dropper? Like, have you ever interacted with one that's like, hey, we got to do this because name drop said we got to do it, or hey, we need this done. Name drop wants this done. Like, you ever run into those people that just name drop?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. That's basically what Dr. Halsey said. She brought Lord Hood into it because I believe that Dr. Halsey believes she has a shield in Lord Hood, which Lord Hood is just very political about things. He knows that the program was necessary, but it doesn't mean that he was okay with what the program went on. So, the Admiral Perenguski is like, are you really trying to blackmail us? And they keep talking about it. And of course, at the end, they decide that they want Miranda, Dr. Keyes, removed because she's kind of absolved from all this. So they're going to take her off this project being so close to all of them. I don't know. I felt like they feel the pressure coming around them. It's closing in just because Master Chief remembers. And, they obviously are scared for the repercussions of what could be. What do you think of this scene?
Yeah, well, first of all, you don't try to blackmail Perengoski. Perengoski, in all intents and purposes, is essentially the most dangerous and powerful person in the universe. Not the universe, but in the UNSC, I should say. Because
Go into that. Why is she so dangerous?
Her position, she's the head of ONI. And if you know ONI, ONI is ruthless. They will do anything. Yeah, Office of Naval Intelligence. They will do anything they need to get what they want. People have tried to expose ONI before, have tried to blackmail them, this and that. Every time they've been an issue dealt with by Perengoski. They never survive. They never live to actually tell what they're trying to tell. You do not cross Perengoski and live.
Which is why I believe she might have dropped Lord Hood's name in here. But even Lord Hood is...
Well, Halsey's definitely using... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like, I kind of feel like they're going to make her the fall girl. This is what happens in TV dramas. You have a fall candidate, and so she's going to be the fall girl. Everything's going to fall on her. All the evidence is going to fall back to Halsey that she acted without anybody's knowledge by herself.
Oh, yeah.
So so that could be maybe this season, end of this season, maybe next season. And don't forget, I just want to bring this up. We're very close to the Fall of Reach. In Reach, during the Fall of Reach part, Spartan 3's already existed, and Halsey was unaware that the Spartan 3 program was happening. So, let's keep that in mind. So here we go. This is the where it all goes downhill. We're about halfway through the episode, and from here it's non-stop action, guys. So get ready. So here's the doctor that's obsessed with Dr. Halsey, and he's using some sort of laser, probably to broadcast the frequency into the protective glass that this thing has. As you know, we can communicate with lasers, and we can run data through lasers. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, as far as reality is concerned, that a laser is being used to broadcast the counter frequency to this to shatter the glass. And the glass shatters, everybody's ears hurts. What do you think, Lethal?
Well, I couldn't imagine how loud that sound must have been. It's very apparent from the start that it is incredibly loud and is having a detrimental effect on everyone. And I don't know, that would not be a good place to be in.
No, a few people might have lost their hearing. So
yeah, for sure.
the signal broadcast, and it must have broadcast on subspace frequencies or maybe through the domain, because it reached all the way to planet Madrigal. She, of course, touches where the resonance signal is coming, and she finds out where the signal is going. What do you think of that? That's the only way I can explain that it got there so fast. What do you think?
Well, the power of the foreigner technology has certain things that people consider to be unnatural. But yeah, it's foreigner technology is beyond human comprehension. So for how it travels, it's just dumb it down to how advanced the foreigners have begun this technology to work so efficiently.
Right. So now they know where the other keystone is. So there you go. Here's the scene where the glass is shattering. This is all very instantaneous, guys. Chief is there. He sees the artifact now be out of the protective shell. You can see all the pieces down here. A lot of the pieces right here. I thought it was really cool that they showed the glass shattering and revealing the artifact, and you can, of course, see where the other keystone goes in. What do you make of that?
I thought that was a really cool scene. We never really seen this glass thing protecting the foreign artifacts, but I think it's cool how they kind of did it. Like it's just, working its magic essentially.
Yeah, and notice that the artifact is powered. Nobody is touching it, but it is powered right now. That's another thing. So it's definitely communicating.
Must have had it to be powered or something.
Yeah, so it's definitely generating something. And of course, here we go. Dr. Halsey is she's revealing that it was communicating with something. Let me see where I am in my slides. I gotta find myself here real quick. Yeah, so she reveals that it was communicating with something, but what happened, Lethal?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
So she's telling her dad that that it was communicating with something. She's super excited about it. And what does her dad do to her as a reward?
Or takes her off the project.
That's right. Now, at first he tried to do it as a dad, but Dr. Keyes was protesting, so he finally, as Captain Keyes, took her off. He got very serious, pulled rank on her, all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Pulled rank.
Yeah, so he took her off the project. Now, this is where John is starting to just wonder about all his memories. He basically tells Cortana, do you have access to everything of everything? And where's my file? Where is my UNSC file? And basically, he doesn't have one, his childhood file, and neither do any of the rest of the Spartans. Nobody has a file. And Cortana doesn't know why nobody has a file. Obviously, being Oni, there is no file. Or were they taken from rebel camps? Lethal, why doesn't he have a file?
Well, it's one of two reasons. Either there actually is no file, or Oni's being Oni and there is a file, but obviously it's so well protected that nobody can access it besides the top Oni officials because of how dangerous the information could be if it got out there.
Yeah. So there you go. So Master Chief, there is no file, there's no file, there's no file. No file on anybody. Master Chief does what Master Chief does. He touches the artifact. He has another flashback. Here, he has a flashback. He remembers being kidnapped, essentially, and replaced with a flash clone. And they do show the flash clone replacement, which I totally love that they included that in the series. But they showed that Dr. Halsey herself was there, which I don't know. Was that in the lore? That Dr. Halsey herself was there? I don't think it was.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, go ahead and tell the fans what you think of this kidnapping scene.
Okay, well, this has probably happened to all of them in some way, shape, or form. I don't think Halsey was, personally there for all of them. That'd be a little much. But if there's one that she probably wants to, be a part of, it's probably what she sees as the best subject, which is 117 John. That's what I think, because this is the one she wants the most. So she's going there herself for it. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just kind of weird that Halsey would be there. But for the sake of the TV show, for the sake of drama, of course she needed to be there.
Right, trigger John's
and like I said, I'm really glad that you got to see them taking the baby away and replacing him with a Flash clone. So yeah, that was really, really nice because that stuck to the lore. So I'm glad they're at least sticking to some lore. All right. So Master Chief remembers about Halsey. He loses his temper. He goes crazy a bit. He lunges at Dr. Halsey, Cortana, and Cortana shuts him down. What'd you make of this emotional scene where Master Chief just lost his cool and went after Halsey?
Okay, well, this is definitely incredibly comical to me. When I saw the scene, I was laughing a lot because this picture right here, this image, looks somebody you'd see straight out of a comic book. And I just thought it was funny. I get there's also, emotion to it, which there is, obviously. This information, this truth that Chief learned, that John learned, is something that pushed him over the edge and, lead him towards trying to attack Halsey, which Cortana promptly responds to and shuts him down instantaneously.
Yeah,
so
this
it's
would have to
definitely
be
a fail safe in there that Halsey put for good use.
Definitely so. Thank God for Cortana, I guess. Halsey should think.
Oh yeah.
Be thankful for Cortana. But yeah, when I saw this, I'm like, that is so not Chief. Chief would not have an outburst of anger like that. But again, this is the TV show, not the game lore. Now, remember, in the game lore, they always knew that they were kidnapped. They always knew that they were conscripted. So they got to deal with those emotions when they were much, much younger and come to accept it. And of course, it was very important because Halsey wanted them to have a level of trust in her and in what she was doing to them. Because she knew that a lot of them would die. She knew that a lot of them wouldn't make it. She knew a lot of them would get injured. So they needed to, basically get with the program willingly. And so Halsey did that purposely, told them exactly what happened. But that's the game. For the sake of the TV show and to drive a story forward and maybe to get all the things in motion and, in 9 episodes instead of, what was it in the video games, like 20 years? Right? A lot of these things need to come crashing down fast. So I'm starting to understand why the TV show is taking so many liberties with the lore, the way they're telling their story. But I think it's, at the same time, a little uncharacteristic of the Master Chief that I know. So, yeah. So, here we go. Cortana shuts him down. She tells him that his decision-making was compromised. And he gets up being still angry. He is still angry, right? Which is not good. And then this happened. And this is where it just gets even better. What did you think when you heard this?
Space rupture detected. That's a very nice callback to Antidots from Halo Reach, the AI that helps the UNSC on Reach. It definitely brings back something.
That's right. Slip space rupture detected. There's just some lines that are very iconic to Halo. And so, yeah, that slip space rupture detected words that Cortana said just resonate. And of course, that's the Covenant coming in to just teach some humans some lessons. Real quick, let's break for a minute. John 907I in the chat comes in. Evening, guys. Hey, John, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you. And again, guys, feel free to type in any comments you want about the show, about any of the screenshots you see, if you like them, if you hate them, so forth and so on. And immediately, just the Covenant being Covenant, they go straight to work. And man, this is an epic shot, an epic bombing run by some Banshees. And it just, they were caught off guard. They were caught with their pants down. What do you think about this?
Well, when the Covenant catches you off guard, that's not a good sign, because with their technological superiority, they will cut down every UNSC troop there. And the only saving grace is the Spartans. That's how it's always been. On the ground, the UNSC can win, but that's only when the Spartans are there. Besides that, they will get destroyed in almost every scenario.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, the Pioneer gets shot down. What do you think about this epic scene right here? The Pioneer just on fire coming down.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, I really liked the way they did it.
Yeah, now, go ahead, Lethal.
No, it's a good sense of scale. I enjoyed, even a ship like that, UNSC ship like that, it's nothing to the Covenant, to be honest, because their technology, their weapons are shred right through that thing.
Yeah. Now, I do want to say this, right? So you're in an extraction mission. It's going to take a few days. Of course, I know that this is done for TV, but I just want to criticize Captain Keyes on being an awful commander for allowing himself to get caught off guard, knowing that they're taking on that the Covenant was chasing after the other artifact. You'd think that they wouldn't know about this artifact. Maybe a little, I don't know, more situational awareness on his end might have prevented some of this happening. Maybe the Pioneer could have survived, although I highly doubt it. So, Captain Keyes, your star rating's going down. Just saying. Now, I love this part that Riz and Vanek are carrying the artifact by themselves, just to show how strong the Spartans are. They can essentially lift tanks each one. So yeah, I love this scene, especially coming out of the smoke. What'd you think of this one?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it definitely shows the strength of the Spartans. Chief in one of the books carried essentially a boulder that was heavier than a warthog by himself. So, he struggled, but still, it's an impressive feat. And right here as well, you can already tell that they're taking serious casualties. So
yeah, but they didn't look like they were struggling in this shot. So they still got room to spare on that strength meter.
Oh no, with this, yeah, they're not struggling. But for normal, Marine, yeah, it'd take like 500 or something more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And okay, so I know that this is just the still shot, guys, but you ever see the the power walks that Chief does? They always show the back of him in the video games, doing the power walks, like when he's about to power walk off and jump or something like that. This was the opposite. This was a power walk towards the front. And so now remember, Chief is still angry, but slip space ruptures have happened. He's all business right now. Right. And he walks like he's all business. What do you think of this walk, the serious walk from the Chief? I loved it personally.
Yeah, well, even though you can't see his face, it's just sometimes you can just tell by the way it's posed, by the way it's all shot, that he's determined, that he's serious. So.
Yeah, and he's very shout out to the actor for getting this walk right. I don't think this is an easy walk to pull off because it's very iconic. All right, so Kai comes back, and Chief basically says, "Hey, snipe us, give us some cover from the back." So, I really enjoyed this scene. Actually, hold on. Before I get what I thought, what did you think about Kai coming back into the battlefield?
Well, when you have this invasion that they're cut off guard, and you need everyone you can get. Doesn't matter what Chief said at that point, where, oh, you stay back in the ship. No, you need all hands on deck. And Kai, even though she might be unstable or whatever, she still knows how to fight. So they need everyone they can get. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So I really enjoyed this scene because, again, Kai comes up, Master Chief immediately gives her a task and she immediately executes it. No apologies, no what are you doing, no anything, like straight business, as you said. So I really appreciated this scene that it basically was like, well, like it should be, in my opinion. So yeah. And if man, this battle was just epic shot after epic shot. I mean, here you see Kai taking some sniper fire to these banshees. And that sniper rifle is nothing to shake at. It enough shots to a banshee and it will take it down.
Yeah, just a few shots with that thing.
Yeah, so and here you can see the Spartans starting to run right here. I mean, look at it. These guys are booking it. So I love this shot right here. I might print this out. And this whole battle was just epic shot after epic shot. What do you think of this particular shot?
It's a great shot. I really like it. And especially seeing the Spartans in the background running too. They can run like as fast as a Wardog pretty much. So
yeah. So what do you think when you saw these drop pods come in?
All the drop pods, what you can say. They're iconic. And we got to see the Jackals and the Grunts for the first time. So there's that. They look great, by the way, too. They did a good job with them.
Absolutely. So these drop pods came by, which was an epic scene how they dropped them in. But as soon as I saw that shield, that iconic Jackal shield, man, I was like, Jackals, because I was expecting elites, right? And instead, it was just a bunch of Jackals. But yeah, that iconic shield that I absolutely despise. This is the reason I won't take the Needler in the campaign, is because of this shield. It's basically useless against it.
Yeah, I need a pistol for that.
Yeah. And of course, my good buddies, the Grunts, are here. They got their... Now, these look more like the Halo 4, Halo 5 Grunts. What do you think of these Grunts designs?
No, I disagree. These look more like the classic Grunts, I'd say, like Halo Reach or so.
You think so?
This is I forget what they're... I don't remember if they gave a name for this phenotype, but it is more the Halo Reach, 2, 3 Grunts, all that. It looks like it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I can find.
Look at the Halo 5 Grunts. They just look ugly, weird. They're bad. It's bad.
I believe you. I don't think Halo 5 Grunts were that bad personally, but that's just my opinion.
Well, the Rangers were nice. The Ranger armor ones with their face covered up.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. This guy doesn't have any timestamps on his video. Maybe someone timestamped it for him. Lots of drawings, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so here we go. So here we have Halo 1 Grunts. Now this is Halo Remastered. They got that stuff. They got more of a shell-like design on the back and single pillar. Let's see. We'll keep moving on. Gets to look at some more Grunts. Yep, still Halo 1-ish or 2-ish. Let's see. This is Halo 2 Grunts, I do believe, because these are anniversary Grunts, just based on their detail and the levels where they are. Let's see if we can find some more Grunts. Okay, Halo 3 Grunts, because I recognize this forest. You played a lot of Halo when you can recognize the game just by the backgrounds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's keep going. All right, here we go. Yep, these are these Halo 3 Grunts or Halo Reach Grunts?
I feel like Reach.
Yeah, this is Reach. You're right. These might be Reach design Grunts. This is Reach for sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely Reach. And hold on, right there. Yeah. So let's see. Compared to the sample. Yeah, that's definitely Reach design. Hey, you were right, Lethal. Congratulations. This is why you're the lore master. I always am. Yes. All right. This is why you're the lore master. So yeah, you were right. Halo Reach Grunts. There you go, guys. Confirmed. Halo Reach grunts. All right, so let's move on. And here, hey, you got some backup. Lethal knows what's up, bro. Yes, he does. Absolutely.
Sure.
That's right. Never question the lore master. So here we have, so this Warthog is going full speed. The Spartans are running with it. They're as fast as a Warthog. Now, in the video games, the Spartans are not as fast as the Warthog, but in the comic books and in the books, they are. Is that correct, Lethal?
Yeah, that's correct. They're pretty fast in the books. There's a lot of stuff they do in the books they don't show in the games, but yeah, they have a lot more feats that are shown in the books than the games would ever show you.
Absolutely. So I do love that they show just how fast Spartans are, that they can keep up with a moving vehicle. So I loved this scene in its entirety, where they were seen running by. Okay, so Cortana was basically telling Chief, hey, two on your right, two on your left, incoming up there, blah, 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 blah. Just tons of information. And I guess Chief just kind of, had to tell her, I know how the game is played, Cortana. Like, don't micromanage me kind of thing. So what do you think of this one?
This is probably probably the best quote so far in the series, I'd say. It really is. It's simple, but it rings true. He doesn't need Cortana to tell him to do everything, because he will do everything that she says pretty much without her actually needing to say, because he's just that good. He's been at this for decades.
Yep.
Trained since he was 6 years old.
That's right. And hey, another fan. Wow, Lethal fire on that grunt. Yes, absolutely. Lethal's the man. I had to get this needler poof in there. What do you think of this scene we saw the needler basically vaporize someone into nothingness?
People think the grunts and jackals are pushovers, but they aren't. Maybe for Spartan, but for the average Marine, those weapons, even the weakest weapons the Covenant has, are incredibly dangerous. And this just shows it. A Marine can die in an instance with some of these weapons. Just a couple shots is all it takes.
Absolutely. I actually love the fact that so in the last episode they were talking about the needler and how it was homing, and boom, all you see is mist. And then in the next episode they show it. I love that part. I love that they're bringing all of this fan service in. And of course, you get a nice scene of why this thing is called the Warthog right here. Even though, if you ever watch Red versus Blue, they'll tell you this looks like a puma. What do you think? Does this look like a Warthog or a puma?
I know the puma joke. Overall, the silhouette's still, Warthog, but I know where they're coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. You mean a puma? By the way, if you've never seen Red versus Blue, it is comedic gold, guys. Go check it out, Rooster Teeth. I believe a lot of the full seasons are on YouTube. And here we go. They showed a vehicle jacking. What do you think about this double vehicle jack that happened here?
Oh, this was great. Probably one of the best parts of it. I didn't expect the Grunts to not just shoot the Marine, but hijack it, just kick him out of the hall. That's literally what the Spartans do to, the Spartans in multiplayer, to the elites or whatnot and the vehicles. But yeah, Grunt doing this, that's caught me off guard. But this is funny. I'm all for it. Obviously, you could tell he didn't know how to drive at all, so he was screwed out of the way. But.
That's right. So this is really funny because I've done this in the game where like I get jacked by a grunt and then I'll jack him right back. Or in Halo 5, because it was 4-player, my friend would get jacked and I'd be right there and I jack him right back. It just plays so much homage to what happens in the game. I love it. We got Crazy Greek Dude coming in. Poor guy couldn't reach the pedals. I don't know. Like the grunts aren't short when compared to Spartans. They are, but compared to humans, they're not that short. I don't believe they're that short.
They're actually around the size of the Marines, more or less.
Yeah, they're roughly 5'5" 5'6" I believe. So they're not entirely short. They're not tall, but they're not short. Let me see. I might have to find it. But yeah, I totally loved it. And then of course he got hijacked back, and of course this is the vehicle that's carrying the artifact. So everybody's after this vehicle. You know, this is the objective right now of both armies. One to protect and one to, well, to do what this Warthog did, hijack it. So shout out to that Warthog for doing his job, unlike some people that we're going to find out here soon. So let's keep it going. Let's see. So here's that drone. So right here, this is Dr. Key's Pelican, and this is where they had to bring the artifact. The Pelican gets blown up for whatever reason, probably because they know that's where they're taking it. So the Pelican gets blown up into a bunch of nothing, essentially. And Captain Keys, or not Captain, why do I keep calling her Captain Keys? Dr. Keys is in it. And so, yeah, what did you think of this scene where you got to see the Pelican get blown up into a million pieces?
Where you can't have anything Halo without a Pelican blown up somewhere, somehow, whether it be getting shot out in the air or, you know, just exploding in general. That's basically a staple of Halo.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, and keep going. Sorry, keep going.
Oh no, that's all.
All right. And yeah, all I know is that if Full Hammer, what's her name in the Halo game? Full Hammer 219 or something like that.
Yeah, go 419 Full Hammer.
Yeah, if this was Full Hammer 219's Pelican, it wouldn't have gotten blown up. That's all I know. Yeah. So let's see. And of course, and now I thought this was interesting because this is like the first time I saw some sort of human reaction out of Dr. Halsey when Miranda Keyes' Pelican got blown up. What'd you make of this scene here?
Yeah, well, not a lot of things get the kind of reaction out of Halsey, but, you know, even though she hasn't been close to Keyes or Dr. Keyes, Miranda Keyes, her daughter, you know, that's thinking that she died, got blown up, and that Pelican definitely strikes something in her. So definitely shows this human emotion side even for her.
Absolutely. Yeah. And of course, her dad saw it too. He's way more emotional than that. So he is also just, no, you know, Miranda, as he should. You know, that's his baby girl, his little princess. If you're not yelling out in pain for your princess, who are you yelling out for? That's all I got to say. Now, I thought this was really cool because it just showed the swiftness of the jackals. They are fairly fast. They are fairly evasive, even in the games, because even I struggle sometimes to keep track of where they are. What do you think of this, seeing the jackal just basically slicing and dicing all these Marines?
Oh, yeah, look, these jackals are deadly. They might not seem deadly in the games, but no. It's a regular Marine. Yeah, they're very deadly. They're very fast. Like you said, they're very swift. They can move around very easily. And what they have in their right hand, or, well, one of them has the right hand, is it's not an energy sword. No, it's energy dagger. They call it pretty much what the elites have in Halo Reach when you assassinate something, like assassinate another Spartan with it. They pull out these energy daggers from their wrist, pretty much. So that's what this is.
Interesting. All right. So there you go. Now, it turns out that Dr. Keyes did not blow up in the Pelican. She's struggling to get back to it. And she is rescued, or not rescued, but taken the rest of the way by her mom. What'd you make of this scene? Again, these are the only human reactions I get out of her. Even though she basically ignores her, you can tell she still feels something for her.
Yeah, you know that. Again, I was just saying that this is something that she had to do. You know, she had to do it herself because this is her baby. So she needed to rescue her.
That's right. Real quick, we got a question in the chat here. John Uno79 says, haven't caught the episodes yet. Waiting to watch the series. Any good guys? Lethal, what do you think of the series so far? Worth watching?
Overall, it's decent. Yeah, it's worth watching. Not all the episodes are action-packed, but I think if you stick with it long enough, you'll be rewarded with some good stuff.
There you go. So yeah, pretty good. I'd have to say too, as a Halo fan and especially a lore guy, if you can separate the lore from this, you can definitely enjoy it. Um, I know that a lot of lore guys are down on the show because it broke from the lore heavily, but from a moving the story along quickly standpoint, I can see why they did it, and I have no problem with the creative freedom they're doing because they're still doing a lot of fan service, as you'll see later on. You're gonna hear Lethal pee his pants.
Oh yeah.
All right, now we're back to Kai. Now Kai hasn't been critically hit or anything really. She's just watching everybody around her die, and she basically starts having essentially a panic attack. It says heart rate critical or whatever, but she goes into shock and she starts having a panic attack. In my opinion, what do you think she was having?
I think that's exactly what it was. This is probably one of the other emotions that she's experiencing for the first time. Now she's watching these fellow Marines die right in front of her. She has a lot of anxiety, all this stuff, seeing everyone around her die, and she kind of just freezes up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no other way to explain it because she was doing damn good, and then suddenly she just froze up. So I like to think that she's having a panic attack of some kind, personally. And the symptoms are there. She basically goes into shock and has a panic attack. And so that's what happens when you don't got that emotion pellet in there. She basically just stood there, took a bunch of hits until she got down. Now we're looking through Master Chief's visor. He's still, he's doing pretty good. Combat focused. But sees Kai go down and wrong decisions started being made. Emotional decisions. What do you think of this scene?
Well, I'll tell you something. The Spartans come first. That's what I'll say.
That's right.
They always come first no matter what. And this is kind of game accurate too. Because they have a bond that no others have. It's always Spartans first. That's what Chiefs.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think this was the wrong decision because this actually, as you said, it's game lore accurate. Chief always tries to save as many as possible. That's just who he is. And of course, Cortana, being an AI, she's like, no, stay on mission. Don't abandon that artifact. Blah 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 blah. Don't do it. Basically, all that stuff. So I don't know. I'm still not digging this version of Cortana. That's not helpful to Master Chief, to be honest with you. She seems more like an extension of Halsey, and I'm not liking it too much. What about you?
Yes, I see where you're coming from with that. I think maybe it's just has to grow on it a little more, more time to develop. And I think that's what Cortana will eventually kind of warm up more and start putting Chief first. That's what I think, because, like you said, just more of a Halsey mindset right now. Just, get the job done, move on. But, yeah, I think the right circumstance that Cortana is going to kind of shift to have more emotion with Chief.
Yeah. Cortana and Chief, essentially, by the time, the 7 years are done, Chief loves her for all intents and purposes. And, they do have a very close bond. But right now, I think this is like, not a very close bond yet. So maybe it'll develop further along, maybe next season. And then we get to see Chief basically he takes down a Banshee, crashes into a bunch of Covenant, and then the Covenant get up, and we get to see Chief just start going to work. And I loved this scene where he just was tearing everybody down, running out of ammo, picking up guns, just like you do in the game. What'd you think about it?
Another great action scene is a showcase of Master Chief being very quick, resilient, and efficient. Just taking out all these grunts and jackals like it's nothing in no time.
That's right. Now, he gets to Kai, and he's fighting this elite that's basically beating Kai down. And somewhere in this scene, the Warthog gets blown up. I couldn't catch it because it's very fast. But he basically takes this this elite down, and he lets him have it. What do you think of this fight scene here?
Oh well, it's interesting to say the least. You could tell that this is another one of his emotional outbreaks. He's expressing a lot of anger for sure, and taking it out on this elite. Obviously, Chief can be brutal, but this is a different kind of brutality. This is excessive brutality, and that's because the elite was hurting Riz, so he just kind of broke out from that.
Yeah, the elite was taking it to Kai. So this was, once again, I think this is again that pellet coming in. That let Chief basically beat the elite well beyond beating the elite. You know what I mean? Like the elite, it was basically already dead, and he just kept pounding on it for rage's sake. And he got his eye off the mission, and the artifact was moved. So here's Chief running towards the artifact as fast as he can once he realizes that this dropship is coming down, because Cortana is still on mission, and she told him, hey, there's a dropship coming in, and he basically refocuses as fast as he can. What'd you make of this scene where Cortana had to basically snap him out of his rage?
Well, yeah, Cortana is trying to keep Master Chief in line, but he's just this pelt's changing him. I don't have too much to chat on this in particular, but on the next one I sure do.
All right, here we go. Are you guys ready to hear Lethal scream like a little girl? Right here. This brute drops down. Chief keeps running at him, not missing a step. He grabs a jackal shield, and this brute basically basically 4 and golf putts him out of the way with that 9-iron hammer. What did you think of that scene? The shield scene.
Oh yeah, if it weren't for that shield, Chief would be a lot more than just having his shields beep. That'll do some serious damage to that hammer.
Absolutely loved it. But I love that, Chief anticipated that hit, but I don't think he anticipated the strength of the hit.
No, not at all.
So yeah. And of course, here we go. Talk to the people, Lethal.
Well, actually, I don't think this is any ordinary brutes. This brute right here, despite what Axel says, we'll fight on that in a minute. But this right here is Aatrox. This is Aatrox, and if you know anything about Aatrox, he is beyond a Spartan. You thought Spartans were the top of the top, the predators, the apex predators. No, Aatrox is 100%, and I'm telling you, this is 100% Aatrox. This has to be. Can't be anyone else.
All right, so let's
just looks too much like him.
Let's take a look at the tape. So I'm pulling these images up from Bing here. So give me a second. All right, so here's Aatrox in the Halo Wars 2. Here's Aatrox here. So we don't got too much of a beard, but we do got the dreads. We got the dreads up here. We got the dreads up here.
Yeah, the braided beard.
We got some of the dreads down here. And of course, Halo Wars 2 is about 20 years past this. So Aatrox is much older, much more brutal, all that good stuff. Let's see if I can find a Aatrox picture here. I don't know why they brought up the Predator. I don't think this is Aatrox. That doesn't look like him.
No, it's concept art.
Yeah, here we go. Aatrox right here. So, I mean, it's incredibly plausible that this is Aatrox. I'll say it's plausible, okay? Now let's bring up my main man. What's his name?
I'm interested to see why you think it's Tartarus.
Let's see. Oh man, I gotta type in Halo. I think you might be fully correct on this one. So let's pull up Tartarus here. Now Tartarus is different. He's got a mohawk, no dreads. He has
tusk.
Yeah, tusk. He has a different outfit than Atriox does. He's kind of a white. Here we go. I like this one. He's kind of a white. The Jirhani, right?
Johanna, yes.
Yeah, the Jirhani. So yeah, I don't know. I might have to concede this one again to the Lore Master. Another point against me. I think this is definitely Atriox as well. So tell me, what do you think we are seeing Atriox in the show? The betrayer, the traitor.
Oh, you asked why I think that we're seeing him?
Yeah.
Well, actually, because Tartarus has been irrelevant since 2004. And it's all about Atriox now. It's all about Atriox. He's the main man.
Okay, that could be it. Could be that Tartarus is his time to shine has come and gone, and they're gonna stick with the new and shiny, out with the old and with the new.
Yeah, I mean, what did Tartarus do? He just got destroyed by an elite. And Atriox,
hey, that was not just any elite, all right? That was the Arbiter.
Sure, but yeah, Atriox is a whole different level. 100%. I think they're capitalizing on that. Atriox is the crown of the villains right now, essentially in Halo, and I think they wanted to show that, have that kind of presentation here for the show.
Right.
And good on them for it. I didn't expect them to do this, but I'm all for it.
There you go. So out with the old, in with the new. Get that irrelevant crap out of here. I don't know. If we're gonna keep with relevant, I mean, I don't think Thelva Dom is irrelevant, but he is not known as a bad guy right now. So you might be right. But back to Atriox. Of course, he's looking younger, but he's still just as imposing as ever.
It's the signature look of superiority.
Yeah. And, he kind of waited for Chief to get up and, come at me, bro. And you notice that Chief didn't.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you have the shot there where it's Atriox standing over Chief.
I didn't get it, no, but that's the very next shot. Well, that's actually the shot that led right before this. Chief is kind of looking up from his one knee position up at Atriox, and Atriox is just like, come at me.
To show power.
Yeah.
Show dominance.
And of course, Atriox ascends into the heavens with the artifact, which, by the way, I love that he used the gravity hammer to grab the artifact, and he carries it with one hand because Jirhani are stronger than Spartans. Don't let anybody confuse that. They are.
Oh, yeah, much, much stronger.
So, while it took 2 Spartans to move that, it only took one hand for Atriox, I guess as we're going to call him. And, Master Chief has the blood of that elite that he was killing on his visor. I love the battle damage here. Like, his armor was nice and shiny at the beginning of the episode, and now it's all sorts of messed up. Blood and sand and some scrapes and scratches. What did you think of this scene?
Sure is, yeah. After every mission, essentially, Chief takes some sort of beating, whether it's just shots or debris or, whatever it is. His armor's always messed up in some fashion, so it only makes sense they'd show that here. I'm glad they did, because that's just realism,
Absolutely.
Even Chief doesn't go out unscathed.
Love it. Yes. All right, now we come back to McKee, and she's telling him to make it look good. Now, when I first saw this, she's like, make it look good. I'm like, make what look good? Well, what did you think about this line?
Well, yeah, with McKee is one thing. She likes to make things look good, like it says, because from what we've seen so far and here in the show, she's a pretty good actor. She really is. She can sell what she's trying to sell pretty well. She can have people buy in. She's good at acting, I guess. I don't know.
Absolutely. And we know what she meant by make it look good, which was they were going to dump her there. Chief doesn't trust this person, as she shouldn't, but he doesn't eliminate her because she passes out. And we come to the end of episode 5 on this thing. But what do you think of this scene?
Yeah, it's
Chief walking up to her with gun drawn.
Yeah, I think he didn't pull the trigger because he's never seen this before. If it was an elite or Jack or anyone else, he would have shot. But it's a human. This is new for him. He's never seen that before. A human in the Covenant. So, she doesn't seem very imposing, and she's really not. So, I think he can take the risk of, sending her back to the the UNSC fleet or whatever, and interrogate her.
Absolutely. All right, so this is where the show ends. That's the last scene in the show. What'd you think, Lethal, as a whole? Episode 5.
My rating,
Yeah.
giving it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
So
All right,
9
I'm
out
going
of
to go
10.
9 out of 10 as well. Tell me why you got 9 out of 10.
So 9 out of 10 because of Aatrox, to be honest. Seeing Aatrox, and we didn't see him for very long, but obviously Aatrox can make an entrance. Even if it's just for a few seconds, he can put a Spartan down, just like that.
Quick and efficient. Absolutely, as Aatrox always is. Real, another shout out for Lethal from my wife. Mr. Lethal is really the professor of Halo. You're dang right he is. And John 9079 says, real cozy and fun show, guys. So I'm also giving this show a 9 out of 10 because it pulled a lot, and I mean a lot, of fan service on this one. From lines to, an actual battle with the Covenant that was pretty damn good, if you ask me. And of course, the Jurahanai were introduced with Aatrox. Just like, well, I thought this might have been Tartarus. This is definitely Aatrox. I agree now, but which gets me even more excited for this, knowing that Aatrox is going to play some part now. I hope he does, personally. Overall a 9 out of 10. It started off a little ridiculous, in my opinion, but you gotta take that campiness with adaptations. You can't be too picky, guys. Things are never going to be 100% your way. As long as you enjoy it, that's all that matters.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but I want to get into this. So McKee, obviously, she's a Covenant infiltrator. And as you know, they're on planet Reach, and I know she's trying to get the other keystone. And so I think this is going to set up the fall of Reach, where the Covenant are coming in for that other half of the keystone. And it's going to set it up for the fall of Reach, maybe at the end of the series, because they're obviously going to take her back to Reach. She's going to let out the signal. Covenant are going to come in, guns blazing, and just kill everything. So I think the ending of the season is kind of known now, which takes a little bit away, but not a lot, because I kind of always suspected that it would end with Reach. Do you think that we're going to see the fall of Reach?
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you because, knowing that McKee is going to be taken back to Reach, I'm sure to be questioned by Chief in the UNSC. Mm-hmm. I absolutely do think that it's going to lead up to the Covenants actually finding out McKee's location and going to Reach and just messing it up.
That's right.
Taking the other artifacts too.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. Episode 5 in the books. That's going to do it for us today, guys. Over an hour episode, but man, it was a good one. Let me tell you, best episode yet, best battle scene yet, best live action adaptation of the Covenant ever. I'm really enjoying this show. I really am. I watch each episode more than one time, and I'm probably going to binge it all in one sitting one day, eventually. So I definitely recommend the show to everybody. Lethal, you got anything to say to the people before we head out?
Yeah, I just think that episode 5 really set things in stone and set up a lot of good things for the future. So I'm excited to see where it goes and hope that, they stick with a little bit of action. It doesn't have to be all action, of course, but, just keep that in there. And that's what people like. This entire episode wasn't action, but it didn't have to be because the action we got was good enough. So I just think that's what they need to do. Just keep enough action in there for people to kind of still be interested for that aspect, but do your story elements where you have to do them.
Absolutely. Before we go out, shout out to the chat again. Again, guys, thank you so much for spending your time with us your Sunday evening. You could have been doing anything else, but you chose to spend it here with me and Lethal, talking some Halo, comparing the show to the lore, and hearing our thoughts. And we appreciate you. And this is why our chat is always the MVP of any of my shows. Thank you so much. Lethal, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, appreciate you guys for coming and watching us. But yeah, you can just find me on Lethal Space Terminus on Xbox and Lethal Terminus on Twitter.
There you go. Shout out to John9079. He says, thanks, guys. Great show. Thank you for stopping by, John. Princess Zelda, awesome show. Thank you so much, Princess Zelda. You are awesome. And looking forward to it. You should, John. Yeah. Just wait till the show's there, but man, it's good. All right. See you, everybody.